back on the X52 podcast. It is Thursday night, May 29th, 8:30 p.m. here on the East Coast. My name is Jake Louque. We are presented by Jimmy's Famous Seafood, and back like we never left, it is 2 out of 3 L's. Arditti checking his phone, no doubt. Doing something really important here that absolutely takes precedent over talking to me. Business as usual for my guy here.
We got the very rare Adley Rutschman tweet.
Really?
Want to win an autograph from me or Jackson Merrill? Enter the giveaway. And the comments are just as dumb as you would think they were. So
yeah, I do not envy whoever is running that account.
No,
we know that he has not touched social media probably since last summer.
I think he updates he does his Instagram, I would think. I know he does a lot of he puts out the Bible quotes on Sundays.
Yeah, that could be him.
I think that is. I definitely think it is. He'll put up some stadium pictures and stuff, but yeah. So anytime there's an Adley tweet, it's very few and far between. So
I'm surprised it wasn't a video of him doing a wall sit, as an ad for PNC. Brilliantly boring.
Yeah, we haven't gotten those in a while. I did start seeing the Gunner pizza bowl, or is it no Papa John's ones?
John's, yeah.
I saw a couple of those start to kind of trickle through, maybe about a week ago. But
these brand activations during wartime, as I would put it, that things can go pretty bad. I don't know if people are buying war bonds these days. I think people are maybe the home front is not exactly aligned. There's some strong opposition to what's happening overseas. Let's just put it that way.
Yeah, I think you're spot on there. I think you were spot on, sir.
Yep, and unfortunately, we, like I said, right back to where we were. It felt like the EOs were building some momentum coming out of the 2 games that they stacked up in Boston to close that series out and split it 2-2. They get themselves their first winning streak of the 2025 season by defeating the Cardinals in the opener of this 3-game set. A lot of celebrations in that. I think there was some. I threw my Shawshank Redemption out there, and spoilers for one of the greatest movies of all time. Go check it out if you haven't seen it yet. A lot of fun was had after that, but unfortunately kind of came crashing down again. I will say, and I think you were maybe having a little fun with this idea, looking a little more watchable, over the last week or so. It feels like this, Tony Mansolino, just the Rip Hamilton offense, just little pesky little, grounders that are sneaking through and playing some small ball, scoring on errors. I don't know, man. Like this series really sucked, especially yesterday. I think, it felt pretty deflating in the second half of that game, but overall, like it feels a little bit more competitive than, let's say, the doldrums of mid-April, when it was just like, what the hell are we even watching right now? I'm sure my expectations have just been lowered a little bit, and I'm just kind of trying to grasp at straws for something, but I don't know. It feels like if there are some positives to cling to, I would say offense is looking a little bit more productive. Pitching, it's Sugano and a bunch of guys still, but it was nice to see Uncle Charlie Morton go out there and do what he did in his recent start. He earned himself another start, which is going to be coming up this weekend against the White Sox. But overall, I mean, just general takeaways from the series. I'll throw the floor over to you.
Yeah, you were spot on with all that. I tweeted that last night, like, hang the banner. They're watchable now. Yay, they're watchable. Like, yeah. I'm turning
the late great Jim Irsay, hang the banner. They are watchable.
Yeah, hang it up. It's funny. Like, I was on a podcast when it was a Tuesday night, and they hit a home run. I forget off who. I don't even remember. And the guy I was doing the podcast with, Justin, was like, oh, are we gonna get like a get them tomorrow boys tweet? And I was like, no, I don't feel that right now. Like, we're doing okay. Like, that may come a little later, but we never got that tweet this series. But it was like you said, more watchable, more entertaining for the most part. Monday, to get that win Monday with Morton on the mound, Memorial Day, not a great crowd, 21,000, but I feel like a lot of people at the beach. Just, we talked about it, but disgusting, crappy weather like all week too. Like, Monday wasn't anything special at all. It did not feel like Memorial Day weather. It was like a little chilly and windy. But they got that win. Morton pitched his ass off. That was awesome to watch. Good for him. His press just, he was like, thank God, pretty much. And he had a lot of lengthy answers, but you got to feel good for him. Obviously, he's been through hell and back this year. But then
innings pitched, 4 hits, 2 earned runs, 2 walks, 5 strikeouts. That is, he hasn't even sniffed anything close to that. That was the first win that he has been involved in. Every single time he has touched the diamond for the Baltimore Orioles, they have lost the game, and it is in double digits at this point. I think it might have been 0 for 12, and now it's like 1 for 13, maybe.
I think so. Yeah. 1 for 13 or 1 for 12, one of those. But yeah, it was nice to see them get that win. That was a fun one. But then they kind of, like you said, come crashing back down to earth. It's like the offense. It's not like I said it last night, but it's like it shows up in like these little spurts, and like you'll see it like last night, like they bunt, they steal a base, they're driving a guy in, and this and that, and then you're like, okay, maybe they're starting to, I don't want to say turn the corner because we went over that before, and then they're just done for the rest of the night. And like the Cardinals bullpen is really good, and Mansolino talked about that, like they were shut down by that bullpen, but they can't. It's like they'll take one mini tiny step forward and then they take 2 more back like immediately. And it's just like, this sucks again. That's right. This is brutal to watch. But I mean, O'Hearn has kept hitting. He had the big game on, was it Wednesday or Tuesday, I guess, with the home run to put them up, I believe it was. And then Baker, the bullpen had a bad night then. And the bullpen was kind of the last of the 4 facets, I guess, to kind of fall apart. Baker came in the game with an ERA under 2 and, had a bad, it was like 5 minutes. It went, they had a lead, or they were tied because Aiken gave up the tying, I believe, to tie it 4-4. And it was like, you didn't even have time to be like, oh shit, here it comes. Like, this is going to be bad. Before it was like, I think it was home run, triple, aided by Heston Kjerstad. Call it Mateo's ball, Heston's whoever. Heston got a glove on it. He drops it, and then another triple. Jordan Walker hits one off the wall that Mateo had misplayed. I know he's not a center fielder, but that, I mean, I don't know what the hell that was. He jumped like the ball wasn't even at the fence yet, and he jumped. It was super strange, but that game was over pretty damn quick after that. And then last night's game was kind of more of the same. It was a lot of Jackson on Bark at the Park night. If there are dogs in the ballpark, Jackson is going to hit. If there's one thing he is motivated by, it is the good boys. It is the Boops. It is the good boys.
I said, I was talking to a friend of the program, Hodges. We were having a couple beers and watching the sort of the second half of that one last night. And Hodge is just an absolute baseball pervert. I mean, just a true sicko, Orioles especially.
He was crashing out as hard as Spenny did?
No. He was just more in like a resigned kind of depression, which I don't usually see from him. But he was making these Frank Robinson references to me that I just had no idea what he was even talking about. But I actually brought up that, well, it's Bark at the Park night, so Jackson Holliday is going to turn into Mark McGwire. He didn't actually get what I was talking about. I was like, you got to look at his splits during Bark at the Park night. Mm-hmm. And obviously, 3 hits last night, 2 of them doubles to start things off, drives and a run, in 5 tries. So he's another sort of, man, if we're kind of turning the page and we're just like looking for good things to take out of each series, his continued ascendance, I think, continues to be probably the biggest story of the year for me.
Absolutely. And he, JCM was tweeting his stats, I think, for second baseman yesterday. It's like, I think you can make a legit case that he's maybe the best second baseman in the AL. He's playing very, very well right now. And the defense has been great all year. He's been really, really good. He's been stealing some bags. He's hitting and it's not just like slap single, or he's laying one down. He's not just finding grass. I mean, he's driving these balls to the wall, doubles. He's had a couple triples, and the homers are coming. So I'm really excited with how he's playing. It's him and O'Hearn, the 2 guys who are really, really doing it. And thank God for those 2, because who knows what the last couple of weeks would have looked like without Jackson, without O'Hearn, and they're just, but besides for them, it's been a tough watch for pretty much the rest of the boys. I think yesterday we talked about it, but yesterday they had every chance in the world to win that game and win a series. It came down to Adley and Gunnar, I believe, going 0 for 10. And Gunnar just looking super frustrated. Like he's striking out and he's doing like the quick turn back, and it's festering inside of him.
Yeah, he couldn't run out that throw to first, and he like chucked his helmet down as he was running out. Yeah.
Yeah. And Carol said it right here. Frustrating. That's what it is. These games, like, at least they're not down 6-0 in the second anymore. Like, they're slowly, they'll get a lead, and then believe me, the Cardinals are a good team. The Cardinals have won, I think, 15 of their last 8. They're playing the best. They're playing like the best team in baseball right now. Them and the Yankees. So the Cardinals are no slouch team at all. But the Orioles had them on the fence in every single game, like we just talked about with the Red Sox.
About like what some people are saying in the comments here, and what I saw on Twitter a little bit is like, they just can't, when they go down, they can't come back. I'd actually say in that game 2 nights ago, they sort of did with the O'Hearn home run. That was kind of the first like time in a while that I felt like, man, they're in a high leverage situation. They need somebody to make a play. Of course, it's your best player at the moment with O'Hearn, who had 5 hits in this series. That was his one of the night with the home run. And yeah, they were down, I think, by 2. It's a 3-run homer. It puts them up by 1. You're feeling all the momentum. And then if I remember correctly, it was kind of the bullpen going out there and filling their pants a little bit. You mentioned the Baker blow up. So it's just, yeah, I'm with you where it feels like it's still frustrating to see that kind of stuff happen, but I'm at the very least encouraged, not in like the sense of, oh my God, they're going to turn the corner and go on some big run and make the playoffs. But it is good to see them like not just completely like Chris Clemmer fold themselves up into like some, nook and cranny and, bow out of that one. That was nice to see. I just would like to see a lot more of it going forward. Just show some fight. Show me you're still, there's a heart beating in there.
Yeah, absolutely spot on. I mean, again, O'Hearn came up in a big spot and where we've seen it a billion times this year, like, oh, here we go. And then, we're used to like a ground rule double play or a ground into double play or a lazy fly ball, a second baseman or something like that. And O'Hearn puts one out over the wall, and he's been just absolutely trying to carry this team on his back. But it was nice to see the little bit of a comeback, and at least they were getting guys on. It seemed like in the inning, I think they were just, I think they were 3 for 17 with runners in scoring position, which that's just kind of more of the same. Like, this is just rinse and repeat. They cannot get these guys over. They cannot get them in. Spenny was all fired up, and as was I in the Milwaukee series, being like, that extra inning game, that forces them to face that demon head on, and it just nothing has changed. I think there was a game. What was it? It may have been that Tuesday night. Mateo gets on with a single, steals second, steals third. Yeah. If he's doing that, he has to score. That he has been awful all year, but when he does something like that, you got to get him in there. And it's strikeout. He did that. It's bad at bats after that.
Yeah, he did that in the series at Phoenix. I remember that was a really bizarre series, and that was kind of when things were starting to teeter a little bit, and it's like, how good can this team actually be? And I remember him making his way all the way to third. He might have pinched ran or something, and Mountcastle just could not drive him in. They might have had literally nobody out at that point, and yeah, it kind of felt like more of the same there. Just continues to be a problem, continues to be a huge story. The fact that for whatever reason they cannot hit in the clutch, they cannot drive guys in. It just continues to be, I think, that really what is killing this team. I mean, it's tough to ask an offense and go out there and win shootouts in the fashion that they would have to with the way this pitching has performed at times. But I mean, I would say the starting pitching more recently, it hasn't quite been your Achilles heel in the way that it was at the start of the year. So you'd hope that they would be able to find that gear within the offense and start playing more like a balanced team. But it continues to just be this game of whack-a-mole where it's like one thing's going, the other thing won't. That thing starts going, the other thing drops off. It's just really annoying.
Yeah, and you talked about the starting pitching. Again, Jacob Calvin Meyer had tweeted, I think last night was the first start that, what was it? It was like the first start that it was the first time since May 18th, I think, that an Orioles pitcher had like given up more than 5 earned runs, I think, which is, that's not, again, hang the banner. Like, oh, there we go. They're good stuff. I'm trying to find that. I can't find it.
And Cade also looked really good to start that game. I mean, he had like 5 strikeouts through 3. He was, it kind of felt like he was dealing a little bit, but it's just kind of another thing with Cade where it feels like I was saying this to Hodges. Like Povich kind of feels like the inverse of Sugano a little bit to me, where it feels like he can get off to these hot starts and then the wheels come off. Whereas with Sugano, he can maybe have a shaky first inning and then he settles in and just cruises for 6 innings straight. yeah, I don't know. It just feels like another thing that needs to be cleaned up. But like I said, I'm not totally going to blame this starting pitching staff. I know 5 earned runs is tough, but you're not really getting that out of Sugano. You didn't get that out of Morton. Trevor Rogers looked good in his most recent appearance. Hasn't been as big of a problem, in my opinion. You could look into the sabermetrics and all that and whatever, but just eye test, it felt like you if you get a little bit more out of your offense, you probably could have taken this series.
Mm-hmm. And again, here, Cade Povich, final line, 4 2/3, 8 hits, 5 runs, 3 walks, 9 strikeouts. I think I read that he's like, for lefties, I think he's top 4 in Ks through 9 in the AL, which is pretty crazy. I think it was like 9 point something Ks. So he's striking a lot of guys out, but I feel like his whip, again, I don't have it up, but I feel like his whip is kind of high. There's always traffic on the bases. There's always guys out there. But yeah, it was Matt Wayrich. Tonight marks the first time an Orioles starter allowed 5+ runs since May 18th, ending a run of 9 straight games. So they had a solid run there. And again, that coincides with the team playing better and being more watchable, and see what happens when you're not down 6-0 and you haven't even batted yet. Like, good things can happen. But yeah, the offense just kind of continues to, they can't get out of their own way. You have your Adley Rutschman issue. You have your Heston Kjerstad issue. Mountcastle still just 0 power there. His average is okay, but again, his OPS is way down. It's an issue everywhere. Luckily, we did have Colton Cowser and Jordan Westberg. They've been trying to get in these rehab games for like a week now, and the Mother Nature in Norfolk has not worked out, so they were able to. And again, Masson had tweeted this a couple weeks ago, like, "Oh, we're going to throw games. We're going to throw Norfolk games on Masson." People are like, "Who gives a shit? I don't care." Today, I cared. I watched some of that game. We saw old friend Nick Vespi on the bump for, I think it was Lehigh Valley. It was the Phillies team. I don't know.
You could have told me he was still in the Orioles organization, and I would have believed you.
Yeah, he's up in Philly, but Cowser, I believe when I was watching, was 3 for 3 with 3 straight stand-up doubles. And he was going against Andrew Painter, he was one of the top pitching prospects in baseball. He's the Phillies' top guy. And so that was good to see. He wasn't facing, Jim Schmidt from whoever is going to be working at H&R Block in like a year. It was pretty good. So again, it was nice to see that. It was not nice to see Colton slide into home plate, which I'll give him this. Home plate's not raised, like it's just smooth. So there's nothing to catch your thumb on, and he does have the sliding mitt on that left hand now. So
he's like DeMarcus Robinson in that preseason game a couple of years ago. Just goes out there and just burns some poor schmo who's going to be like, as you would say, working some corporate job in a couple of weeks for 3 touchdowns. Like that's kind of that's the vibes you get.
Yeah, like the Phillies were playing all their guys. So again, going against Andrew Painter was nice. Westberg had a double or single to drive in Cowser. So he looked fine, but I believe Cowser is able to come off the IL. I've been told it was Friday. I've been told it was Saturday. I've been told it was Sunday. Like I've seen it all. So I know I think in Rock's article today, he said eligible to be put back on the roster after Friday. So I guess maybe today. I keep thinking today is Friday. It's a weird week. So I guess
it's actually
tomorrow
Thursday, but Dwight thinks it's Friday. So let's try to
think it's Friday. So yeah, I don't know. Again, he maybe they give him a couple more at bats in Norfolk and get him up here, to go on the West Coast trip after Sunday. Maybe they bring him up Saturday. I have no idea. I know the weather, I think, is crappy on Friday tomorrow too.
Really? Who knows? That's a shocker. Who would have thought?
Who could have seen that coming? But it was nice to see Cowser getting out there, getting dirty. I did like that. He didn't think twice about sliding. But if they get him back, if they get Westberg back eventually, then we're slowly starting to see the pieces come together, and the lineup is going to look better. And in turn, the defense will look better. You're not going to have Mateo in center field, obviously, and Heston, and I don't know. It's a clusterfuck right now. But again, just slowly start adding pieces back. I don't know if Adley's going to get it back. He has all the time in the world to, but he has not looked good. And again, maybe the getting the guys back will help a Mountcastle and will help a Gunner, and you slide them in with a Jackson and O'Hearn, who are just red hot, and maybe they'll have fun and start hitting and win a couple games, and we'll go from there.
Yeah, and you've got Big Cuzzo 410. I know he's a 2-time All-Star, but what seems to be the problem with Adley? Like, nobody knows, and that's the thing. And I think we've talked about this, but one thing we haven't necessarily, or at least I haven't all the way considered, is the health in the terms of moving him down the lineup. Like, it sounds great to just move him down the lineup, but now you've got bona fide options that are going to make that not only an option for you, but probably a necessity with the way that he's hitting right now. I think with Cowser and Westberg coming back, that makes it a prime opportunity to get him down to that kind of 4 through 7 territory where he actually was a little bit last season and didn't break his confidence or anything. You don't necessarily have to talk about sending him down at any point, anytime soon. I don't think that would be good for anyone. But yeah, I don't know. I mean, it's just kind of, like we said, we're sort of on the precipice here. Trade deadline we're not quite into June yet, but it's approaching. So are you going to move assets? What are you going to do? Are you going to kind of get a look at what you have and turn your attention towards 2026? It's all in consideration, but I think we just cannot forget, and I definitely am guilty of forgetting just how injured this team has been. So it'll be good to see these guys get back into the mix, and it'll be good to hopefully, get some of these pitching, your starting pitching options back. Bradish slowly approaching a return. He said he's targeting August recently, or somebody said that on his behalf, maybe. Grayson, his bobblehead night is coming up. Not exactly sure what's going on. I think he's throwing bullpens now.
He should be in Aberdeen soon. I would expect him to be in Aberdeen sometime. So I know he was throwing, I think, flat ground on Tuesday at the ballpark, but I would expect some announcement that he'll be in Aberdeen. Hopefully within the next couple week or two, maybe. But yeah.
So I guess you'd hope to see him in July. Hope to see Bradish in August. And yeah, we'll see where the team is at by that point. Not expecting any sort of miraculous surge up the AL East table there, but it just, again, it drives home the point that those are 4 really good baseball players that you just haven't gotten anything out of. And I'm not making excuses. I don't think it was good to plan around, these guys are just going to come back and everything's going to be great. I mean, we didn't think when the season started that we'd have to wait until July to see Grayson, but you look at his past history. Maybe it shouldn't be the most shocking thing in the world. Certainly shouldn't be shocking that it's taken Bradish this long with the extent of his injury. But overall, just hope they come back and show something and give us something to feel good about heading into the home stretch of the 2025 season.
Yeah, and you're right. We talked about it before, but it's not fun just having to put all your eggs in those baskets and if Grayson, if Bradish, if Wells, if this. It's that's a lot of ifs, and these are all major injuries, especially for guys like that who are throwing upper 90s and
this is a position
very hard.
Yeah, an equivalent to every time you do your job, you are essentially subjecting one of your extremities to the extent of a car crash. That, that's what these guys are capable of now. And yeah, I mean, Grayson's a flamethrower. He throws super hard and you start to do damage and add wear and tear, and that can only kind of snowball and things can kind of get away from you quickly. So.
Yeah. And again, same thing with Wells. I know that's what Zach was saying over here. Haven't heard much on Wells. I know they showed him on one of the Masson shows doing, in the bullpens and doing some stuff, but yeah, I haven't heard much of anything out there. But when it comes back to the Adley conversation, again, I think that has been the most frustrating part for me is the continuing to shove him in the 2-hole. That's just, it's I don't know, he's just maybe just move him down. I know this is a perfect world kind of situation. I have this lineup. And again, I just kind of jotted this down. Jackson, Gunner, Westy, O'Hearn, Cowser, O'Neill, Mullins, Adley, Mountcastle at DH or something like that. I didn't think it all through fully and matchups and all that, but it's man, a 1 through 4 of a Jackson, Gunner, Westberg, O'Hearn, Cowser at 5. That and you can mix them up to break up the lefties or do whatever, but that's that looks fun. Again, just dropping Adley down there. I think it's not going to hurt anything. I mean, he can't be much worse than he is now. I don't know why they haven't done that and why they keep him in the 2-hole. Maybe they don't have another option. I don't know. They've tried Ramon in there. I don't know if they've tried it all, but I think you got to keep trying something. Just do something to try and get him going, and you know, see if he can find it, and you know, just I don't know, see what they can do, and I know O'Neill's. They said he's going to start another rehab assignment soon. Gary's going to go on a rehab assignment soon. Not sure how much that's going to help, but the guys are slowly starting to get back. You're not going to see your 7, 8, 9 of Maverick, Mateo, and you know who else? I'm trying to think of somebody else. I don't know.
Chadwick Trump.
Well, yeah, I would hope that they're not going to have Maverick and Trump in the lineup at the same time. But you know,
well, I mean, you know,
hasn't been pretty. Has not been pretty.
Listen, you know, whatever's going on with Adley, maybe a little wake up call. Hey, you're sitting today. We're gonna get Uncle Chadwick out there.
Well, again, I mean, when he got hit, he got rocked. Like
that's what I wanted to say. Like we were talking about this like last week. Like, you know what? Like he's still not looking great, but if you look at the metrics, maybe things are starting to slowly catch up for him. Maybe we'll start to see some more results, a little bit better results. And then he just takes a fastball right to the face. And like that just kind of, that could probably affect things a little bit. And that could be how you would go hitless as a designated hitter, as Carol says here in the comments. It's a tough look, but you know, like I said, I felt like he was slowly maybe kind of starting to show a little bit something. At least the numbers said that he was maybe inching towards that. And then that happens. And it just kind of feels like a microcosm of all that's gone wrong this year.
Mm-hmm. And even, I mean, I was watching the Pirates game the other night. Joey Bart, same thing. He gets hit in the face. He comes out to, you know, warm up the pitcher, and he stops the catch. It is like, I'm nauseous, and he was nauseous. He left the game. They put him on the 7-day IL. So again, I know they were like, oh, Adley was able to avoid it, and they were very, very careful with how they said everything. And I definitely understand why, because you can't just throw around the concussion word and act like everything is fine. It will not end well if that happens, and you know, major penalties and stuff. But the way that they went about it, you know, he missed 3 games, I guess 3 days. I forget how much it was. But yeah, and then he comes back and he kind of looked more of the same. So I don't know. It's just everything is kind of off with him. There's been the people I know, again, Zach said it in here, you know, maybe ditch the lefty hitting and only hit as a righty, pull the Cedric Mullins from a couple years ago. I don't know. I truly don't know. I think moving him down would be a start, and just kind of see how it goes from there. I don't think it's going to upset him or hurt his feelings, or, you know, I think he would fully understand why it's happening. I'm sure he's fully aware of his numbers. And again, let me look it up. He is $192 over the last 7, 231 over the last 15, 210 over the last 30. 307 on base percentage over the last 30 games. That's not the Adley. Because remember, even last year, we were like, well, he's not hitting, but he's getting on base and he's drawing walks and he's having really good at bats. Those really good at bats are not there right now. So
yeah,
I don't know. People ask him, my DMs are full. Like, what's wrong? What do you do with him? How do you fix him? I don't know. I've been asking that question too now for, you know, about a year. So it's it will be very interesting to see what happens with him and how they keep how they keep going with this.
Yeah, I don't know, man. He's at a fork in the road in his career. Like there's not an easy way to talk about it. You know, former 1-1 who's shown to have all the potential in the world, you know, all-star already up to this point in his career. And it's just
2-time.
Yeah, that's exactly. So I don't know, man. It's, you gotta just kind of hope and believe that player is still in there. But only time will tell. And yeah, like people have been saying, I don't think continuing to throw him out there as your second hitter is really, you know, necessarily setting him up for that success. It's just another, like we had this conversation last season, just send him back down in the lineup a little bit, let him kind of disappear into the mix and hopefully start to produce down towards that end of things. And that could maybe also help with your clutch hitting, because you get to these points late in games and it's like, oh man, need a rally. Oh, well, we've got Dylan Carlson, Jorge Mateo, and, you know, God knows where they've got it.
Put some respect on Dylan Carlson's name. Okay.
I will. Listen, he's like I said, he was the for one moment there, he looked like the AL MVP. I would say for exactly one hit, I would vote for him for AL MVP.
He finished that series strong in Boston. He had a great Monday, Memorial Day. It's you know, when his number was called this last week, he's gone up there, and so good for him. Just like Ramon, anytime they kind of need a big hit, you know, this last week, Carlson was there and he's making plays, and I don't know why he wasn't in center field when Georgie Mateo was, but I don't know. Not fun.
Yeah, Mateo. We might be in the last days of Jorge Mateo in an Orioles uniform.
I don't think so. I think he'll hold on over probably Emmanuel Rivera, who again he has gone ice cold. They have thrown him at first. Obviously, Mountcastle still has options. I don't think they send Mountcastle down. I just don't. I don't get that vibe that they'll do that. Again, I think they would rather pass Rivera through waivers and keep Mateo because like I just said, he can't. He got on and stole 2 bases the other night and immediately was in scoring position. It's not his fault. The rest of the team couldn't do anything with it. So,
yeah. Yep, I'm with you. All right. I mean, anything else we want to go down the docket here about?
There's been a lot of talk like who goes down when Cowser is back. Is that Heston? Is it? I would think maybe it is over Dylan Carlson. I know that the Orioles said, hey, we're going to give him every chance to run this thing out this year because he's earned it. I think he's had his fair share of shots, and Dylan Carlson has played better in the last week and a half. I think Heston's at $190 on the season, like not in the last 7, not in the last 10, not in the last this. I think he's at $190. Let me see. Yeah, $190, 238 OPS. He has 4 home runs, 16 RBIs. I mean, 26 hits and 137 at bats. Like he's not done anything. And again, at least Carlson is a switch hitter and can give you some speed and play defense. But when Cowser is back, which is hopefully within, I'm hoping that by the time we do our next recap, we'll be talking about what a great game Cowser had. But he'll be back up and they got to make a move. So I don't know if it's going to be Kerstad or what, but I would think that he is the odd man out with Colton coming back hopefully soon. So I don't know. It's been frustrating to watch him too. Again, another guy that just hasn't taken a step forward and has kind of just not even flatlined or plateaued. Yeah. But he's just, he gives you a nothing burger every time, an absolute nothing burger. So I don't know. I hope again, I'm happy Cowser's back. It's going to be more like, all right, the boys are back in town now. And maybe he is that goofy guy that maybe he can just shake things up and like, I just envision like Happy Gilmore, like let's get a little noise going in here. All right. Get everybody riled up and having fun and doing stuff like that. So I don't know what it's going to take.
Dude, he's going to come back. They're going to fucking sweep the White Sox and you and Spenny are going to be moonwalking all over the group chat. Like, oh my God, I just got to go win 15 in a row.
I was trying to talk Spenny off the ledge the other night. That loss didn't move me at all. Like I was like, yep, that's fine. It happens. It's a bad bullpen night. And Spenny was just like, Spenny is he's that TikTok that I sent. Like, are you kidding me? How is this happening? And it's like, dude, they've already lost their 40. They've lost 39 games or whatever it is. Like, we'll be okay. But yeah. Spenny was extra gentle Spen the other night.
Yeah, he's I think he kind of shut them out of his heart for the first couple of months there because I think he was so disappointed that he tunes into that Brewers game. They fucking win it. He's just like, he's all the way back in, and then they split that series at Boston. And then he's like talking about the magic, how he just wanted some magic in the group chat.
All I wanted was magic. Just show me some magic.
Like, I was like, I don't know where you've been, bro, but
I was like, have you been under a rock? Maybe you have. Because again, he did that whole like, I hate the Orioles, I hate baseball, I hate everything, I hate sports.
Which for the record, he was 100% right about all of that. But too.
Oh my God, he nailed it in the off season. He was like, they're going to be under 86.5. Like that's the easiest money I'll ever make, and all that. But yeah, if they sweep the White Sox, good. They should. This is like if they lose 2 out of 3, if they lose this series, that will be a lot of people being like, all right, it's time to put away my Orioles clothes for the season. Like I'm going to be hooked on Marlin golfing and the Ravens and I fully understand why. Like this is Spenny is us a month ago. That was us in that Arizona series being like, how do we blow this? Like, and now we're like,
I was like looking at my phone like a dog like tilts its head. I was like,
huh? I was like, maybe he's drinking tonight. I don't know. Like he was very. Maybe he had a lot of money on them too. I don't know.
That's always the thing. Like when they fuck, like not this past March Madness, but the one before, he was just freaking out like on this Jack Golke like hatred, like tweet like rampage when they beat Kentucky. And I was like what, why do you like Jack? I was like, oh wait, I know exactly what happened here. There was some big money potentially put on the other side there. So
yeah, I don't know. Good old Spen will come back down to earth and we'll be fine. But yeah, I mean, if it's, I don't know. I mean, again, hopefully they sweep or they can take 2 out of 3 and just, I mean, how great would it be if we got like a 10-0, a 9-1, and like a 6-2 win? Just
like old times.
That would be fun. That would be great. Yeah, I did say at least they aren't the Red Sox off the field drama. Like the Orioles are bad on the field, but they don't have like they fired Hyde. They got all that out of there. There's no like it's because now the Red Sox are getting and the Royals too are getting this like, when are you gonna call up Roman Anthony? When are you gonna call up Jack? I don't even know I can't pronounce his last name. I call him Cags. They're like, it's a disservice. Like Passan put out the article like, it is a disservice to the Major League Ball clubs for not having them up now. And I'm just looking at it like, thank God. Like at least we just have to deal with like, you know, being shitty baseball team. Like we don't have that off the field. Like Jackson Holiday is raking. Kobe Mayo has hit 18 home runs in 4 games for the.
I mean, we've already been there and we saw how that all turned out. So.
Yeah, but at least they were playing well last year when all that conversation was going on. Like this year, like the Red Sox are shooting themselves directly in the stomach, and they have all this off. Like they have their GM being like, "We'll call him up when he's ready." They literally said today he has to work on seeing more breaking balls in the zone. And then they asked Alex Cora, and Alex Cora was like, "He's ready to be up here right now. He would be hitting, like he would be playing every single day if he was up here." And Craig Breslow was like, "Well, actually, we need to work on breaking balls in the zone." And then you even had Eric Hosmer being like, yeah, because he's going to see really good breaking balls down in AAA. And I'm just like I said that the other night. I was like, thank God that the Orioles are not like a laughingstock off the field right now, because the Red Sox are bad on the field and off the field. And somebody was like, well, the Red Sox are 4 games under 500. The Orioles are 17. I was like, yeah, I know. But like they're this like public mess now off the field. They've been doing this all year. Like, Devers is still like throwing a pissy fit, being like, I'm not playing first, I'm not playing third. And both those guys are hurt. Like the Orioles don't have that going on.
You did this on the last episode. I feel like you're spin zoning in the other direction right now.
I'm trying to deflect the blame. Like, again, all we need is another MLB.com or MLB Network thing. Like, the Orioles are bad. Like,
no mess on the field. Yeah, have you seen all these fucking think pieces that are being run on them every 2 seconds about how they blew it and Mike Elias needs to be held accountable? And it's just like, I mean, we've got plenty of that down here too. Don't.
Like I need one more fucking Kyle Goon think piece about like, well, if actually this happens and this, like, dude, all right, dude, we get it, man. Sick, cool, good stuff.
Shot at Kyle Goon. Wow.
No, just he was the first one that came to mind.
Okay, so not just him then.
No, anyone can get it. Come get some, Matt Wayrich. We love Matt. Matt would beat the shit out of me.
Yeah, good luck with that. Yeah, why don't you go after Jacob Calvin-Meyer, the former college.
Jacob Calvin-Meyer, who retweeted Kevin Durant tweet today. Did you see that?
I did not. Let me take a look.
He said he retweeted because I have notifications on for Jacob, and he said he retweeted. Where is it? It was Kevin Durant saying, keeps me young. So I went to the conversation. Somebody said, remember, Gambler, how does it feel to be a 37-year-old man pushing 40, arguing with teenagers and trolls on Twitter? And that's when Durant said, keeps me young. And I was talking to him about Durant, and then he said, he goes, his Twitter mindset is the same as mine. I love it. I'll never stop being an idiot in my own replies, even if I know it's a bad idea. And I was like, that's the Kevin Durant game plan.
KD really did the full circle. Like, what the hell is wrong with you? Why are you so online? This is really weird, to the point where then he just started leaning into it, and he's much more likable on Twitter now that he's like embraced that side of himself.
Yeah. What's his, I think PFT has it like retweeted and pinned, like I'll never chill or something like that. Like there is no chill when I'm online.
There is no relaxed champ. Yeah, no.
Yeah,
Mark crying when he'd go on Simmons like every 2 weeks, like 6 years ago, and like, you know, take shots at people and talk about how he's actually not soft. Like, all right, Kevin, just like chill the fuck out.
Hey, that's what got him. That's what got him to apologize to me. I called him soft, and when he came at me. People forget I won that argument.
Yeah, I think people do forget that because it's drawing a blank for me. But
you don't know that. I tweeted the day Texas lost to Maryland again in football. I tweeted poll and I said, "Who's softer, at Kevin Durant or at Texas football?" And he replied back with "Your mom." And I was like, "Well, that wasn't even I was like, that literally wasn't even an option. Like, try again, brother." And we went back and forth for a little bit. And he was like, he said something, and he was like, "Oh, you think you have all the power or something?" And I quote, this is how long ago it was. I quoted Kanye and said, "No one man should have all that power." And then he said something, and I said, "Listen," I said, "You were the one who got upset and brought my mom into it." I go, "I didn't touch yours." And he said, "You're right. I apologize." And I have that screenshotted. Like, I need to put it on a shirt. I've been saying that for a decade that I was going to put it on a shirt.
yeah, you got to think that would just sell like fucking hotcakes. People.
Oh, I didn't know, for me, not forget anyone else. I'm doing that for me, brother. Like Kevin Durant telling me, "You're right. I apologize." And so I was like, "Yeah, I win." That's the argument. I win. I beat Kevin Durant in an online argument. Like that's better than beating him in the finals.
Remember how good that site used to be?
Well, it's the everything app now.
Yeah, and it does everything very poorly. It used to do one thing.
Well,
really
he has a lot of time on his hands now, I would think. So hopefully he fixes this stuff. Maybe I can search for things now, you know?
Well, we'll see about that. I mean, he's probably got other businesses that are facing some more pressing matters.
Well, it's your guy. Hopefully you can get him, back on the straight and narrow.
No, he's Brian's guy. Brian's got his Cybertruck.
Now that he's already legalized comedy.
Right. Well, yeah, he did. That's the important public service that I was looking for. So
true.
Okay. Well, that's Arditti's Twitter lore and a discussion on Elon Musk. Anything else before we close this one out?
No, I think that's it. I think again, good giveaway weekend. Get out there. Go to the artist.
Was it Joe that we got out there?
Yes, Joe. Yes, Joe won the our giveaway for the ticket, and he was like, "What a brutal night to get invited to the bird bath."
Dude, I was telling the guys, Joe, I was telling the guys in the group chat, I had a little high school alumni, everyone go to the ball game event, and I just chose not to attend. Like a bunch of my friends did too. I'd be curious to see how well attended it was, because that was like, even if, I had gone there and the game went off as it did, which I was skeptical about, that looked miserable. So at least it looked like he had a good time. He got on TV. So
so he did. He sent us that. He was like, "My wife really does not want to go." And I was like, "Listen, if anything," I said, "you can go to Centerfield Bar and hang out there." I said, "Maybe you just go and get the flag and then get dinner at Pickles or something like that." Like, I was like, "You can make it." He sent me a picture of him with the beer. So I was like, "All right, we at least it was a good night out." So yeah, Joe, I'm sorry that it was a shitty night. Shout out to the Chicago Bill for getting those tickets and doing that. That was a very thoughtful gesture. It just happened to be on arguably the worst night of the year weather-wise for that had a game played. So
yeah, it happens. You gotta every couple of years here in the Mid-Atlantic, you just get a spring summer that's a total washout. And, this is looking like
what we're going through. So, but no, that's it. Let's rack up some wins, and
we crossed the 3K barrier subscribers. So that
we did. So thank you to you all. We love you all. We really do.
Absolutely. 4K is the next one, and we'll hopefully send the 4K subscriber crowd to a good weather game to watch. Hopefully it'll happen sooner than next year, but if it is next year, hopefully watch a better baseball team, or maybe if it's within the next couple of months, God willing, maybe we get a telethon going or something. We'll send you to watch a football team that can at least win in the regular season. So we'll see about after that, but get you to a regular season game.
Maybe Spenny will buy you some what are they called? The some tickets.
X-Wing fucking brought to you by Accenture. Bring your Patagonia vest and your basket of wine and cheese, and you sit out, and you don't actually watch the game. There's just like it's kind of like the Sphere in Vegas. They put the Sphere up, and they actually turn down the sounds of the game a little bit so that you can kind of enjoy your conversations back and forth with people. It's catered, everything's very just conveniently brought to you. No lines for the bathrooms, no lines for concessions. It's just the exact type of environment that I want to be in for an NFL game. So
it's you and every other I guess white collar worker, not blue collar. No blue collar down there.
I am colorblind. I don't know about you.
I am also colorblind.
That's a very underrated Michael Scott. You see the white collar, you see the blue collar, but I am colorblind.
The best.
Yeah.
The best. We love Uncle Mikey.
Oh, Lord. All right. Well, is that all we got?
I think so. I think we will call it a night on that.
All right. Well, thank you guys for hanging with us here as we recapped, bring back another tradition from last season, the most forgettable series of the year. Which I don't think it was. I think this one will actually be kind of memorable with the poor weather and the O'Hearn. As in, oh my God, it's Ryan
Great
O'Hearn.
tweet. Fantastic tweet. Tweet of the year by you. That was awesome.
God, that was like, that just hit me like a bolt of lightning because I had made the reference on the podcast and I was just like scrambling to like type it all out. It took me a couple minutes there, but I got it out in time.
That was a good one. That was very, very good. So I was proud of you for that one.
Yep. Well, thank you guys for hanging with us here. Thank you everyone who listened after the fact. If you like what you heard, subscribe to us here on YouTube. Now that we are past the 3K mark, our next goal is 4K. So try and spread us around by word of mouth, however you do it. Get the word out there about the X52 podcast and help us continue to grow our following. You can also do so by following us on social media at X52 podcast on X and on Instagram. Also on X, you can find me at Jake Louque. That's Louque. Eric at EDITTI22. Brian at Barstool Banks, Taylor at Taylor Smythe 10, Spenny at Ravens 4 Dummies. That is the number 4. Shout out to Jimmy's Famous Seafood and all our other great sponsors. And we will talk to you guys again very, very soon.
Bye-bye.
Arrivederci.